Guy Benson with me this morning. Look, this story has legs because it threatens to see the president leave office labelled corrupt. That's not good, is it?
It's not, and I think a lot of Republicans have been using that word in connection with the president for a while, but it didn't really break through, certainly to the media, which was protecting him, and to maybe a bunch of average voters. This certainly throws the whole floodgate open on the corruption side of the Biden legacy, and I think it's a significant piece of the Biden legacy. Now, you were talking about Gavin Newsom there for a moment, Stu, and Democrats and how they're starting to wring their hands about what to do about this. I was thinking about it last night. If I were a Democrat right now, an elected Democrat, what exactly is there in terms of a value to protecting or defending the Bidens anymore? I would cut them loose politically. They are completely expendable. Joe Biden is in his 80s. He's never going to face voters again. No one from that family, I think, has a serious political future. They have moved on from him literally in the election. They did that months ago. I don't think there's too much political downside to seeing Biden and that crew as expendable, throwing them completely under the bus for political reasons and moving on and turning the page, using the phrase that Kamala Harris unsuccessfully tried to harness in her presidential campaign, her truncated presidential campaign. This ship is going down. There's a lot of ugliness here. Whether we ever see the full scope of it, I don't know. But why the Democrats, any of them other than people named Biden, would want to saddle themselves with this any longer, I don't know.
Agreed. A top Harris advisor is blaming President Biden for the election loss. David Plouffe told The Atlantic, and I'm quoting now, "When I got in, it was the first time I saw the actual numbers under the hood. They were pretty gruesome. When the candidate switch happened, some of that stuff got a little bit better, but nowhere near where we ended up or where we needed to be. This was a rescue mission. It was catastrophic in terms of where it was." Guy, they're throwing Biden under the bus.
Yep, to my exact point. And also Plouffe, in fairness, is doing some own saving of his own hide, right? This is some reputation protection from him. He's an Obama guy. He parachuted in with Harris to try to help her. And basically, now that she's lost, what are they going to say? They're going to say, oh, it was hopeless all along. Oh, we came in, look at the numbers. They were so terrible. I'm sure they were bad. Biden was clearly unfit to be president. We all saw it. They called us crazy. They called evidence to that effect cheap fakes and all that garbage. And then they finally gave up the ghost and threw their election overboard and put her in. But I just don't accept the idea. I do accept the idea that it was going to be very tough sledding and an uphill battle. I don't accept the idea that they could have never done any better, because she was an atrociously bad candidate who was unbelievably phony, thoroughly inauthentic, and couldn't answer questions in any sort of satisfactory way for virtually anyone. So I think someone better, who could perform better with more talent and authenticity, may have had a better showing, may not have won, but the idea that, oh, they did everything they possibly could have and she was great, it was all Biden, I don't buy that either.
Tell it how it is, Guy Benson. We like to hear that. Thanks for joining us. See you again real soon, Guy. Thank you very much.